Scene 11 continues with Gloucester saying on line 132, "Our flesh and blood is grown so vile, my lord, that it doth hate what gets it." So, you know, that's a point basically about their children, you know, turning them down and the children going against them. Again, though, I think Shakespeare's focused on the way that actually their flesh and blood is letting them down because they're old men. It's about the failings of age, both because their bodies are actually, you know, not as strong as they used to be, but also because their belief in this patriarchal system, their blind trust in these Machiavellian characters has now caused them all these sorts of problems. So again, Shakespeare is sort of playing around with those concepts that Gloucester and Lear are sort of to blame for what they've done themselves. Gloucester on line 135, 136 talks about this tyrannous knight. So again, the knight is compared to a tyrant, you know, a ruler who is sort of, you know, all powerful. Again, that ties in really well with the imagery that we've had so far about how far has Lear previously been a tyrant who now sees the error of his ways, and it's only now that there's sort of the power of God and this storm, a bigger tyrant over him, that's actually exposing just how small that he is. And then Gloucester says sort of towards the end of scene 11, line 150, "Thou sayest the king grows mad. I'll tell thee, friend, I am almost mad myself. I had a son now outlawed from my blood." He's talking about Edgar there. He still thinks Edgar's the one who's turned against him. You get the link between Gloucester and Lear, both of them saying, you know, I'm mad myself. Both negatively, you know, both of them have been brought down by what's happened, but also, obviously, madness, as Max says, brings that weird insight, that unique insight into the world, and we get the sense that Gloucester's starting to see things properly. However, not fully, because what does he say? That Edgar is outlawed from my blood. You know, so he's turned against him, saying, you know, I've turned my bloodline against him. The irony there is that Edmund used his own blood to frame Edgar, and it's that fact that Gloucester still can't quite see exactly what's corrupt about him. He's not got the self-awareness to see that it's his own actions that are represented in Edmund, the illegitimate child, that are this disease blood that's causing him problems now. Scene 12 is a very, very short one, where Cornwall and Edmund are talking again. Edmund's still playing the sort of loyal son. Cornwall says around about line 6, "A provoking merit set to work by a reprovable badness in himself." And that's the idea, again, it's the reprovable badness in himself. He's talking about Gloucester there, the idea that it's Gloucester's own badness that has caused this problem to sort of create. The old patriarchs have brought it on themselves. Edgar replies in the end of his line, line 11, "Oh heavens, that his treason were not, or not I the detector." Edmund's pretending loyal to this. I know I'm so annoyed that I was the one to detect this treason. I'm so, you know, gutted that I've had to reveal my brother's sins. Again, obviously, there's that idea that he's himself, you know, committing this crime here. He is the one who's committed treason. Again, it's emphasising that Machiavellian nature. Cornwall replies, line 15, "With true or false, it hath made thee Earl of Gloucester." Now, obviously, that means that Edmund is now the heir, basically. But there's also that foreshadowing that Edmund will become the Earl of Gloucester because the Earl of Gloucester's on his way out. And Edmund ends by saying to Cornwall, "I will persevere in my course of loyalty, though the conflict be sore between that and my blood." So there's that blood again. It echoes the scene before. Edmund saying, you know, I'll be loyal, even though being loyal means I've got to go against my brother, and that feels unnatural to my spirit. Of course, he's again being Machiavellian there and lying, but by ending on his blood, we're reminded that it is his corrupt blood caused by Gloucester that's causing these problems for the older men. You know, it's Edgar's own blood that actually frames Edmund. Then we get scene 13, Act 3, scene 6. Now, parts of this are omitted from the folio version because it's basically seen as being unactable. It's hard to see this scene and it not be ridiculously funny. It's basically Lear, this old madman, putting stools on trial. He's trying his daughters, but his daughters aren't there. He's trying a stall. But actually what we get is a reversal of the love test. Shakespeare's basically parodying the love test as Lear grows mad and now basically puts his daughters on trial. So he says on about line 31, "I'll see their trial first, bring in the evidence, their robed man of justice take thy place, and thou his yoke fellow of equity, bench by your side, and then to Kent you are the commission sit you to." So that's his parody of the love test that happened before. He's still making the same mistakes here. He knows that his daughters are treacherous, but he's still trying to weigh them up, which one's more than the other. He's still, you know, judging them in the wrong way. He is, though, assembling Edgar the fool and Kent around him. And there's that point that although it seems ridiculous watching it, he's got this fool and this madman by his side. Actually, I think the point is, as Mac would say, that actually Edgar and the fool have this unique insight. They're the two characters who can sort of see beyond their role in the play through this pretended madness that they've got. And then Edgar says on line 55, my tears begin to take his part so much that I'm counterfeiting. Basically, Edgar's saying, I'm starting to cry here, seeing this is really sad, I'm starting to cry and I'm going to give myself away. And there's that sense again that Edgar is able to counterfeit, he's able to see that, but he's also loyal. He compares the best of sort of the old and new worlds. He's got the tears, which we see with Cordelia as well, this mark of genuine honesty, but he's also able to hide them behind his counterfeiting. He's able to adapt to the world, and that's a really important sort of line. Lear asks, when he imagines that Regan's on the stool and on trial, he asks about line 71, is there any cause in nature that makes this hardness? Again, he's trying to explore and trying to unpick why it is that Goneril and Regan have gone bad. Again, nature is a particularly important word there, isn't it? It's this, as Komodo says, this unnatural world where nature is sort of almost turning in on itself. And then Edgar says right towards the end of the scene, about line 102, he says, when that which makes me bend makes the king bow, he childed as I fathered. There's a few different meanings of that. There's the fact, basically, Edgar talks about what makes me bend. He's talking about his feigned madness. He pretends to be mad and bent over as poor Tom. And he talks about the king is bowing to him. Lear basically gets it into his head that poor Tom is some sort of messenger or some wise man, and the king bows down. So both of them are literally down. And there's that point here that Lear's fallen down on the wheel of fortune, but Edgar's dropped down as well. He is bent, but he's done it knowingly so that he can build himself back up. And that's sort of intimated then in the next line, he childed as I fathered. The literal meaning of that is that what's happened to Lear from his children, i.e. this betrayal, is the same as what's happened to Edgar from his dad. You know, Gloucester has sort of betrayed and wiped out Edgar as well. But there's also that linking between the children and the fathers that we've had right throughout the play. The idea basically that Lear has become like a child. We had that at the start, didn't we? Lear talking about, you know, I'll set myself on your kind nursery, becoming this child. And again, we get the sense of the roles reversing. So with the Wheel of Fortune turning, the roles are reversing between them. And Edgar's now able to sort of, you know, bring the best of the child and the best of the father together. The loyalty of the old system, but also the adaptability of the new system. And I think that's what Shakespeare's really sort of emphasising in this scene.